Atlanta just witnessed a miracle so wild, even heaven probably paused to refresh the live stream. King Harris, the same kid the internet said was gone for good, after that brutal jail attack, just pulled off the comeback of the century. And when I say comeback, I mean full movie moment. Like something straight out of a Tyler Perry finale directed by Quentin Tarantino. Doctors said it was over. Fans were lighting candles. I was breaking down on camera like a man watching his entire world collapse. But then, out of nowhere, King Harris woke up, and not just a twitch or a blink. I'm talking eyes open. Monitors going crazy, nurses crying, T.I. shouting "my boy's back." Like this was a hip-hop resurrection special on BET. Social media went into meltdown mode. 1 second people were posting tributes, the next they were screaming, "He's awake." Like they just saw Tupac walk out of 7-11. Forget the Kardashians, this story makes. Their family drama looked like a group therapy session at Disney World. This is real, raw, and absolutely unbelievable. So grab your popcorn, because this isn't just a recovery. This is King Harris versus death, and King just landed the final punch. Welcome to Expose Express. Let's rewind the chaos, because this story didn't start with a miracle. It started with madness. King Harris, the son of hip-hop legend T.I. and the forever embothered Tiny, had been living like he was starring in his own Atlanta action movie. Every headline, every viral clip, every live rant, it was always King versus the world. But nobody expected it to get this dark. Nobody thought the kid who grew up around music royalty would end up fighting for his life inside a cold, overcrowded cell. It all began when that fight. No, that attack inside the jail leaked online. The footage was grainy, the screams were echoing, and social media detectives wasted no time slowing it down frame by frame, like it was the Zapruder film. You could see the chaos. King Harris cornered, the shouts, the flashes, the sound of metal and fear. It didn't even look like a scuffle. It looked like an ambush. The streets said it was retaliation. Others whispered it was a message. Whatever it was, it left King lying unconscious, and the entire internet collectively gasped within minutes. Twitter turned into a prayer circle. TikTok went full investigation mode. Everyone from shade room commenters to self-proclaimed industry insiders started spinning their theories like they were auditioning for CSI Atlanta. Was it gang-related? Was it jealousy? Or was it just the tragic result of being a Harris, born famous but always a target? The memes disappeared, the jokes stopped, and suddenly everyone was quiet. Even Blueface fans who usually find humor in anything we're posting for King Harris, that's when you know it's serious. When the news hit the Harris family, T.I. reportedly broke down on the spot. The man who once said he feared nothing looked like he'd just seen his entire empire crack in half. Sources close to the family said T.I. drove to the hospital himself, ignoring calls, cameras, and bodyguards, just a father racing to his son's bedside. Tiny was already there, sobbing in the hallway. It didn't matter how much fame, money, or music plaques they had in that moment. They were just two parents praying to hear a heartbeat. Doctors described King's condition as critical. That word alone sent shockwaves across Atlanta. Fans gathered outside Grady Hospital, holding up signs that read, "Stay strong, King." News crews were camped outside. The internet was spinning faster than a DJ booth at Magic City. Everyone was desperate for an update, but the family stayed silent. That silence became the loudest part of the story. Then came the leaks. Someone from inside the hospital, maybe a nurse, maybe a visitor, posted a photo of T.I. in tears, head down in the waiting room, clutching King's chain. The image went viral instantly. T.I. seen crying uncontrollably over son's condition trended for 2 straight days. Fans who grew up watching T.I. as the tough, confident ATL icon couldn't handle seeing him broken like that. Comments flooded in. "Not tip crying like that? This man been through too much." Even 50 Cent posted the photo with a caption that read, "Stay strong, King." That's when it hit everyone. This wasn't a stunt. This wasn't a storyline. This was life or death. And the streets. They were buzzing louder than ever. Atlanta insiders claimed it wasn't a random attack, that King had been targeted weeks in advance. Rumors spread that the altercation had roots in an earlier confrontation outside a studio. Something to do with loyalty, respect, and a bruised ego. It's always loyalty, respect, and ego in this city, the holy trinity of destruction. Then the fake news machine went crazy. One blog posted that King had lost brain activity. Another said he was on life support. Someone even photoshopped a fake TMZ headline announcing his passing. Fans were furious, blasting media outlets for chasing clout off a child's suffering. But even through the noise, nobody had answers, just fear. Meanwhile, inside the hospital, T.I. refused to leave the room. One nurse later told a friend who told every blog within 12 hours that T.I. was whispering in his son's ear, saying, "You stronger than they know. You ain't going out like this." Tani was reportedly praying aloud, crying so hard the staff had to comfort her. Family friends like Candy Burris, Toya Johnson, and even Rashida pulled up quietly, avoiding cameras just to show support. The Atlanta circle, usually divided by fame and feuds, came together for once. Days passed and the silence stretched. No updates, no press releases, no social media posts. People began preparing for the worst. Fan pages turned into tribute accounts overnight. YouTubers made entire life and legacy of King Harris documentaries. TikTok edits with sad music and candle emojis took over the feed. Everyone was grieving a kid who wasn't even confirmed gone, just fighting for his life behind hospital curtains. And then, the shift. On the 7th day, yes, the 7th, like something straight out of a biblical script, something happened. A nurse reportedly screamed down the hallway. Monitors started beeping in patterns nobody had seen since the attack. T.I. was in the room, holding King's hand, when King's fingers moved. At first, they thought it was muscle twitch, just nerves firing. But then, his eyelids fluttered. Tani yelled for the doctors. The staff rushed in. The monitors went wild, heart rate up, brain activity firing again. And T.I., the man who rapped "no matter what," broke down completely. Witnesses said he dropped to his knees, crying so hard the nurses joined in. "He's back. He's back, T," I kept repeating. Words spread like wildfire. The hospital tried to keep it private, but you can't contain miracles in Atlanta. Within hours, the blogs exploded. King Harris wakes up. Hashtag King Harris alive, shot straight to #1 on Twitter. Fans were posting crying emojis, gospel music edits, and captions like, "God don't miss." And T.I. deserved this win. Even Meek Mill reposted it with real ones, "never fold." Doctors called it remarkable. Fans called it divine. The media called it the miracle of Atlanta. Whatever it was bigger than medicine. The same people who doubted King dragged him. Roasted his IG lives were now calling him chosen. One commenter wrote, "He survived something most grown men couldn't." Others said, "God had his hands on that boy." But with the miracle came mystery. The hospital refused to release details about the injuries or what caused the turnaround. Conspiracy threads popped up instantly. Some claimed T.I. paid for experimental treatment. Others said the Harris families got powerful prayers. But the truth, nobody knew. T.I. finally broke his silence with a post that shut down the internet. A picture of King's hand in his, captioned, "God's not done with my boy." It's just 8 words, and it got more engagement than any celebrity wedding announcement that month. Fans cried. Rappers reposted. Even news outlets covered it like it was a national event. For a moment, Atlanta wasn't gossiping, it was celebrating. The city that thrives on messines and drama suddenly had hope again. And at the center of it all was King Harris, the boy who went from viral troublemaker to miracle survivor. But make no mistake, this wasn't the end of the story. Because in true Harris fashion, peace doesn't last long in Atlanta. The same miracle that brought King back would soon set off a chain reaction that no one, not even T.I., could have seen coming. When word of King Harris' recovery hit the streets, the internet lost its collective mind. It wasn't just a comeback, it was a resurrection. People were calling him the boy who beat death like he'd just walked out of an episode of Supernatural. Hashtags exploded faster than a Twitter scandal. Hashtag prayers worked. Hashtag King strong. Hashtag God did. And, my personal favorite, hashtag ATL, Jesus. TikTok edits showed T.I. crying, slow-motion hospital lights flashing, and gospel remixes playing under captions like, "You can't keep a Harris down." But for every miracle, there's a conspiracy, and Atlanta loves a good one. Within hours, internet detectives went from "thank you, Jesus" to "wait a minute." One viral post claimed King's recovery wasn't medical, it was money. Someone said T.I. flew in private specialists from Dubai. Another insisted it was stem cell therapy the government doesn't want y'all to know about. And because this is the internet, everyone suddenly became an expert in neuroscience. Meanwhile, the real chaos was brewing in the comments. Some fans were praising T.I.'s Father of the Year. Kathas, not so kind, accused him of finally realizing parenting matters when the cameras aren't rolling. Parenting matters when the cameras aren't rolling. It was ugly sympathy clashing with shade in the wildest social media debates since Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Then came the Instagram Live that broke the internet. Tiny went live from the hospital hallway, softly crying while saying, "He's talking now. He's awake." The screen was blurry, her voice was trembling, and within minutes, 100,000 people were watching. The comments were a mess, praise God, mixed with "where's T? And this gotta be for the show." And then, as if the internet wasn't emotional enough, T.I. appeared behind her eyes, red, voice shaking, looking like a man who'd just seen heaven and hell in the same week. He didn't say much, just "my boy's a fighter." And that was it. He walked off camera. That 3-second clip turned into a viral anthem. Fans looped it, remixed it, added sad pianos, gospel choirs, trap beats. One user even turned it into a TikTok challenge. Say "my boy's a fighter" and tag a friend who's been through it. Within 48 hours, hashtag "my boy's a fighter" had 40 million views. But you know what else blew up? The rumors. Because in ATL, a miracle can't happen without somebody calling Cap. One blogger claimed, "Ain't no way that boy survived that without divine intervention or money." Another swore that King had been in protective custody the entire time and the attack story was exaggerated for ratings. Then the Neighborhood Talk posted an alleged hospital insider claiming King didn't just wake up, he snatched off his oxygen mask and asked for his phone. Now, whether that's true or just Atlanta's flair for storytelling, the internet ate it up like free lemon pepper wings. Celebrities started chiming in too. Boosie posted "God real brew" on Instagram. Rick Ross commented, "the biggest comeback since Lazarus." Even Cardi B went live saying, "That's crazy. I was praying for them. FR." Meanwhile, 50 Cent, never missing a chance to be petty, tweeted, "Told y'all the Harris bloodline built different?" That one got 100K likes in 2 hours. But then, plot twist. An anonymous insider claimed that the attack wasn't random at all. Allegedly, someone inside the jail had it out for King, and there might have been payback in play. Suddenly, this wasn't just a recovery story. It was a potential setup. The kind of twist that had YouTube commentators foaming at the mouth. Channels like Rap Rain, The Culture Files, and Hoodvine Daily started posting thumbnails, screaming, "Who wanted King dead?" with red circles and arrows like they were solving a crime scene. Every new leak just added gas to the fire. Someone posted that King's hospital wing was on lockdown due to unusual visitors. Another claimed that T.I. hired private security to stand outside his son's door 24/7, not for fans, but for protection. It sounded crazy, but crazier things have happened in this city then. In the middle of the madness, King's voice message dropped. Yep, a short, shaky audio clip allegedly recorded from his hospital bed started circulating on Twitter. You could hear him say, "They thought they had me. I ain't going out like that." So that one line, 8 words, sent chills across the internet. Fans flooded the comments with fire emojis, prayer hands, and crying faces. King Harris said, "Not today." One user tweeted. Another wrote, "This ain't a comeback. This a testimony. And right when the internet was crying happy tears, bam, another twist. A reporter claimed T.I. had been quietly meeting with officials to discuss how this attack was allowed to happen. Translation: somebody's about to lose their job. Word was, I wanted names. He wasn't letting this slide. You could practically hear his voice saying, "You've gone fix this," expeditiously. But the biggest shock came when someone leaked security footage of T.I. outside the hospital, hugging Tiny, crying and praying out loud. No music, no press, no entourage. Just a father breaking down in public. For once, even the internet trolls went silent. That moment reminded everyone that behind the fame, the cameras, and the memes, this was still a family. Within days, King Harris became a symbol of strength. Churches were mentioning him in sermons. Fans were calling him the new generation's miracle kid. People who'd roasted him for his attitude were now writing essays about redemption. Was the most dramatic public transformation since Justin Bieber went from mugshots to mega churches. But even in celebration, controversy found a way back. Some fans claimed T.I. was using the recovery to rebuild his image. Others pointed out how the family's reality show crew had suddenly been spotted outside the hospital. They better not turn this into a storyline, one tweet read, getting over 5 OK likes. Still, when Tiny posted a picture of King's hand holding hers with the caption, "My miracle," even the haters had to shut up for a minute. Meanwhile, King's peers in the music scene started speaking up. Lil Baby posted, #KeepFighting. YK Osiris tweeted, "God gave him another chance." Even Boosie called him blessed. And fans noticed not one person who'd ever beefed with King had anything negative to say. It was like the whole industry collectively decided to chill. For once, Atlanta was united. The comeback story had taken over everything news channels. Podcasts, blogs, even barbershop talk. But something deeper was brewing underneath the praise. The whispers got louder. What really happened in that jail? Was it really just a fight gone wrong? Or a warning? People started connecting dots that probably shouldn't even be connected. They mentioned rivalries, old videos, old grudges, and even alleged inmates with connections. But while the internet was obsessing over the how, the family was focused on the what now. T.I. doubled down on security, hired private bodyguards for every visit, and reportedly told close friends, "We got a second chance, I ain't wasting it." That line alone became the headline everywhere. T.I. vows to protect King by any means necessary. So here we were, a family reunited, a city inspired and an internet addicted. But like every good story, peace never lasts long in the Harris household. Because while King was healing in private, someone somewhere was still running their mouth. A new leak was about to drop, and when it did, the miracle would turn right back into madness. And Atlanta, it was waiting, refreshing, ready for the next chapter, because this story wasn't over. Not even close. Just when everyone thought the storm had calmed, Atlanta proved that peace is only an illusion, especially when your last name is Harris. Because while King Harris was recovering, sipping hospital juice and slowly getting his strength back, the internet was already reloading for round 2. The miracle recovery headlines had barely cooled off before new whispers began circling like vultures around fame. It started with a single tweet. "Y'all really think that attack was random?" 10,000 retweets later, the theories had multiplied like Atlanta reality stars at a casting call. One blog claimed King had been marked weeks before the incident. Another insisted the hospital staff had been bribed to stay silent about who visited his room at night. The streets went from celebrating his survival to dissecting his every bruise. But here's the part that really lit social media on fire. A leaked voice note allegedly from someone close to the situation. In it, a man could be heard saying, "It wasn't no regular fight. It was a message to tip." That sentence alone broke the internet like an overdue scandal. Suddenly, this wasn't just King's comeback story, it was the Harris family versus unseen enemies. And Atlanta loves a WART. I stayed quiet at first. No interviews, no press, no statements, just a father in protective mode. But that silence was its own headline. You know how the internet works when you don't talk? They start writing the script for you. Rumors exploded that T.I. had hired investigators, pulled favors from old friends in high places, and was preparing legal action. Some even said he planned to confront whoever was behind the attack personally. And knowing Tip's temper, folks believed every word. Meanwhile, King's first official photo since waking up dropped on Instagram. Him sitting up in bed, hoodie on, force still in his arm, throwing a weak peace sign. The caption, "Still here? Still fighting." It was simple, raw, and more powerful than any press release. That post shattered the algorithm, millions of likes in hours. Celebrities flooding the comments, "We proud of you. Lil bro, the city got you. God's soldier." Even Drake dropped a prayer emoji. But the wildest reaction came from the fans who'd once roasted King mercilessly for his wild behavior. The same people who used to say, "That boy needs to chill before he ends up on the news," were now calling him Atlanta's chosen son. The shift was insane, like watching social media do a full personality transplant. The narrative flipped overnight, from troublemaker to survivor. King Harris was no longer the punchline, he was the miracle. And that miracle, it came with a price. Because the spotlight got hotter. TMZ started camping outside the hospital. Paparazzi were lurking in the parking lot. Even fans were showing up with "Get Well King" signs, hoping for a glimpse. Hospital security had to beef up, and T.I. finally snapped. One night, when cameras caught him yelling at a photographer, he barked, "This ain't entertainment. This, my child." That clip went viral instantly. Some praised him for protecting his family. Others accused him of forgetting he's a public figure. The memes started again because the internet never rests. One showed T.I. scolding a paparazzi with the caption, "Expeditiously back up." Another used Tiny's crying video with auto-tune. It was cruel, hilarious, and inevitable. It was cruel, hilarious, and inevitable. The cycle had restarted from tragedy to miracle to mockery, all in under 3 weeks. Then, just when things seemed to calm down again, a new leak hit the shade room. A short, blurry video showing King in the hospital, talking, laughing, rapping. He was freestyling about surviving, about enemies, about fake love in high places. The clip was only 30 seconds, but it broke the internet again. Fans screamed, "He's back." While others side-eyed, "Why is someone recording him in recovery?" T.I. reportedly went ballistic. Insiders claimed he confronted the staff, demanded answers, and threatened to shut down whoever was leaking from inside. But that's the price of fame. Even your hospital room becomes a set. And then came King's return to social media, the moment that turned the internet upside down. He went live. His voice was raspy but strong. His energy the same defiant fire we all knew. "They thought it was over for me," he said, staring straight into the camera. But God said, "Not yet." The live hit over 1 million viewers in less than 15 minutes. Fans were crying, dropping prayer emojis, and spamming #KingStrong while haters typed "publicity stunt." But King wasn't finished. He leaned closer to the screen and said, "I know who was behind it." Then he smiled and ended the live. That one sentence broke the internet in half. Theories multiplied faster than Atlanta gossip. Who was he talking about? A rival. Someone in the system. A friend turned enemy. Every blog, podcast, and YouTube commentator ran with it like it was the hip-hop version of Game of Thronesti. Still trying to keep control? Posted one final message that night. "Ain't no fear in the Harris bloodline. Truth always comes to light." Fans interpreted that as confirmation that there was indeed something deeper behind the attack. The comment sections turned into full-on FBI forums, but while everyone else was digging for dirt, King was focusing on his recovery and plotting his next move. Word started spreading that he was writing music again. People close to him said he'd been in his notes app nonstop, turning pain into power. When Tiny posted a clip of him in the studio, hoodie on, mic in front of him, bandage still on his arm, the internet exploded for the 10th time. The comeback we didn't know we needed. One fan wrote. Others joked, if the song's fire, I'm converting religions. The story had gone full circle, from chaos to crisis to comeback. King Harris, the kid everyone doubted, had officially become the headline he used to joke about. The boy who fought authority was now being praised for fighting death. But even in victory, shadows lingered. Whispers about unfinished business kept floating around. A few of King's old rivals started posting cryptic messages. One captioned a photo with the streets. Remember? Another wrote, miracles don't erase mistakes. The internet smelled a sequel coming, T.I. and Tiny, though made it clear this time, family came first. They pulled back from the cameras, canceled public appearances, and focused on healing. Tiny posted one last message that summed it all up. We almost lost him. We'll never take another day for granted. And while that chapter seemed closed, fans knew the Harris family story was never truly done. Because Atlanta doesn't do happily ever after. It does to be continued. As King regained his strength, people began calling him a symbol of resilience. Church sermons quoted him. Podcasts analyzed him. Even politicians mentioned King Harris' fight as a lesson in perseverance. The kid who once made headlines for chaos was now being praised for courage. But that smirk during his live, the one where he said, I know who was behind it. Yeah, that still lingers. Because deep down, everyone knows there's one more bomb waiting to drop. And when it does, it won't just shake Atlanta. It'll echo through the whole industry. For now, King Harris walks with scars, strength, and a second chance. The miracle might have saved his life, but it also lit a fire that's far from out. And when he finally speaks his truth, you better believe it'll break the internet again. Because in this family, survival isn't the ending, it's the plot twist. And, as always, Atlanta's watching, and there it is, the comeback story nobody saw coming. King Harris didn't just survive. He rewrote the ending. From that brutal jail attack to a hospital bed miracle. This kid stared death in the face, slapped it expeditiously, and walked out stronger than ever. T.I. cried, Tiny prayed. And the whole internet went from trolling him to treating him like the second coming of Tupac meets Lazarus. You can't make this up. But you can bet we'll keep talking about it, because this wasn't just a headline. It was a resurrection with better lighting and a bigger soundtrack. The blogs are melting down, Atlanta's buzzing like an overloaded speaker. And somewhere out there, somebody's sweating because King said, I know who did it. Oh, that sequel's loading, you can feel it, but before it drops, you already know what to do. Smash that like button like you're trying to wake King up yourself. Hit subscribe so hard it sends a notification straight to Heaven's group chat. And drop your theories in the comments. Who do you think was really behind that attack? Was it jealousy? A setup? Or just Atlanta doing what Atlanta does best? Chaos with a beat. Stay locked in, because around here, miracles, mess, and mystery never clock out. This is where we turn rumors into revelations and drama into documentaries. With zero chill and maximum tea, you're watching Expos Express, where the truth comes dressed in designer shade. And the scandal never sleeps. Until next time, keep your prayers high, your receipts handy, and your notifications on, because in this city, the next miracle might just come with a headline, and you'll hear it here first. Expos Express signing off, but never off duty. Off, but never off duty.